once the opportunity arose for him to close the show, he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.
That light alright?
Yeah, sweet. You're always looking alright.
Handsome, man.
Omar Ahmed, IFL TV, MTK Global. We're down here for Devin Haney. Good turnout for him.
Massive. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, obviously we brought him over here. You kind of sometimes underestimate the knowledge and the passion of the British fight fans, where, I have to be honest, if this was in America and it was open to the public, you wouldn't get the turnout in America. And he's American. So it's a massive turnout. And, you know, when we was on our way down here, you know, he said to me, "Oh, will anyone be there today?" I said, "Yeah, mate, it'll be rammed." Sort of thinking, I hope so. And they text me to say people were queuing outside. So brilliant. Big thanks to the fans for making him feel at home.
Considering bringing him to the UK now?
Yeah, always. You know, I mean, look, he's an American superstar, but we all know the importance of the UK market, and they do as well. You know, you've seen fighters come over here, Lomachenko recently. They want to come and box in the UK. So we can provide that to them. Luke Campbell's a big fight, which Luke Campbell fancies, Devin Haney fancies. I believe that whether it's through beating Lomachenko or Lomachenko being given the franchise position, Devin Haney will be WBC world champion either at the end of this year or early next year. So for people like Campbell and those guys, they're going to have the opportunity to fight the champion and try and become world champion himself. So he's got an amazing future ahead of him, and this week's been really about mapping that out. Not just obviously the KSI card on November 9th, but mapping out the future for Devin Haney, particularly in 2020. Because you've just really got to get the mix right between him being 20 years old and giving him the fights he wants now. Because, you know, the advisor in me will say, look, you're 20. You know, like the world is your oyster, but the fan in me and sometimes the promoter in me will say, well, you want Ryan Garcia now, you want Tank, you want Lomachenko, you want Mikey Garcia. If you want them, let's go and make them. So it's just getting that mix, but I believe he's an outstanding talent, and I think he's going to be in all the mega fights, probably across 4 or 5 weight classes, and that's very exciting.
Just want to pick on something you said. Have you heard from Russia that Loma will become franchise champion?
No, but I think, you know, everyone's in a bit of an awkward position where Arum doesn't really want
Loma to fight Devin?
Yes, and Loma wants to wants to fight the winner of Teofimo against Comic, rightfully so. It'll be the undisputed. But if they make him franchise champion, it won't be the undisputed. You know? So how does it all sit and work? But at the same time, we're going to be putting pressure on the WBC, Lomachenko, top rank, to say, look, you can't wait Loma till May or June to fight the winner of that fight. So can't you fight Devin Haney now? If you're going to have an interim fight, why not fight your mandatory? Loma will fight anyone. But, you know, we want that fight to become bigger and bigger to try and make sure that those kind of fights happen.
Last one on Devin, you mugged him off a little bit yesterday, didn't you?
Oh, what would
Luke Campbell?
Yeah, because he put it on me. And like, we just did a little Q&A in here earlier, and they went, you know, who wins, Luke Campbell? And the answer is I don't know. You know, you've got 2 outstanding talents. Luke Campbell is a proven elite level fighter, in my opinion. I know he lost narrowly to Linares, and we know he lost to Lomachenko, but he's an elite world-class lightweight. Devin is as well, I believe, but he's yet to fight a Linares or a Lomachenko. So we'll have to find out, you know, we'll have to find out if he's the real deal. I believe he is, but I think a fight with Luke Campbell is a brilliant fight for British boxing, for US boxing, and for both of those guys as well. It's the kind of fights you want to be in, and it's a big fight.
What about someone like Pedraza?
Pedraza, Linares, you know, all these guys for Devin Haney in 2020 are the kind of guys he wants. He's been dealing with those, say, fringe world level guys.
Well, Abdullayev. Some people say world class.
You know, when I went to America last week for that fight, people came up to me saying, Abdullahev's been in our gym in LA. Like, this guy's dangerous, he's tough, he's a machine. And then Devin does that to him, and everyone says, yeah, but Abdullayev was shit anyway. So you can't really win. But the truth is Abdullayev was unproven at world level. So how do we even know that Abdullayev was elite world class? Maybe he wasn't. But the way Devin's dealing with him, we want to see him at that next level. So, you know, November 9 will be a solid fight. Won't be a spectacular fight, but it will be a chance. You know, we talk about the KSI audience, but there's no better audience to showcase someone like Devin Haney to than that kind of audience. Young, fresh, vibrant, a little bit different. Want to try and bring them into boxing. Give them Devin Haney. Show them, this is a sport with some real personalities and with great talent. So that'll be November 9, and then he'll box 4 times next year as well. 4 times next year. He's ready, mate. He's fresh as a daisy. He's flown over here to have a break. He's been training every day, sparring Ricky Burns yesterday. He's in there doing his media work.
How was that, watching that?
Brilliant. I mean, you've got like the young buck and you've got the experience. Only did 6 rounds. Ricky probably would have been better over 12. But you've got a guy who's as sharp as they come in Devin Haney, and you've got a guy who's as experienced as they come in Ricky Burns. So great work for both, because although Lee Selby is getting on and doesn't quite have the speed of Devin Haney, he's still a very fast, tricky fighter. So for Ricky, it was great sparring, and for Devin, getting that experience. Devin Haney and his father Bill understand the value of great sparring. So they've travelled all over the world to get great sparring. So there you've got a situation of where I've gone to them this week. It's a shame you're not training because I've got Ricky Burns in camp. He'd be perfect. Like, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Like, just drove down to Brentwood and jumped in with Ricky Burns, done 6 rounds when they're supposed to be on a vacation, because that's priceless stuff, priceless preparation. And he's a 365-day-a-year fighter, in terms of preparation, lifestyle, work ethic, all of that stuff. Do you want to get out here? Yeah, go for it. Right, mate. Cheers.
Well, they're all waiting. Billy Joe's opponent announced today?
Yeah, this week definitely. So we're waiting on an answer from the WBO to sanction one particular guy. I want an American. I think it's important for Billy Joe and for the show as well. So hopefully, today or tomorrow. Okay.
A few things Coogan didn't speak to you about. I've seen what you said about Nigel Benn. You don't want to be critical, etc. So I just want to comment from you about that fight being on pay-per-view with Sakio Bika. It's been confirmed.
I mean,
that was another no context moment.
Yeah,
go on.
That one was it. That no context moment.
And then you move to the left.
Look, it's put together by people that don't really stage boxing events. I know Mark Peters, who puts it together. He's been on the circuit for years. Nice guy. It's not going to do any pay-per-view buys, not at that price, and it's not a platform. Or is it
Epicenter? Epicenter,
I'm not sure. I think it's a website, right? He's just doing a bit of a huddle. Is he? Okay. I don't know if you want to be in there. Yeah, okay. But look, I could never criticise Nigel Benn. So go into that thing, and then we'll do it after. I won't forget you. And bad opponent. Terrible opponent.
40 year and a half ago.
No, because he's tough, he's awkward, it's going to be a bad fight stylistically to watch, and I think Nigel Benn gets beat. Like, I would rather he come back with an easier fight and then went and tried to lure Eubank into it out. I don't know, but it's a strange one. We've actually got a show the same night. Big show being announced maybe tonight or tomorrow. And
what, here or in America?
In the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, November 23rd. So I was pleased it was on pay-per-view and not, a network channel, because you do get the curiosity of people wanting to watch it, but not for 15 quid when they can watch it later that night or the next day or whenever. So, but look, massive respect for Nigel Benn. Like, I would never ever say a bad word about him. It's not for me. I wish he wasn't doing it, but he is doing it. And like Conor said, Conor didn't want him to do it, but he is doing it, so he has my support. That's what Conor said. I'd back it in as his dad, and I feel the same way. I don't want him to do it. I don't think he should be doing it. I think it's not good at all. But he's doing it, and I wish him all the best.
This isn't another KSI Logan Paul moment, though, is it? Where you said you wouldn't get involved.
No, this is a bit different, because this is a legend who is 55, who, half the press conference, which I watched back last night, was telling everyone, convincing everyone how the safety requirements were really good, and there was a brain specialist up there. This is not, it's great that precautions are put in place, but you don't want to justify that this is actually safe and neurologically safe. So a 55-year-old man just shouldn't be boxing, full stop. And it's all very well saying he's the fittest 55-year-old. Yeah, he is. But I don't feel that a professional fight should be staged in this country without the British Boxing Board of Control. And for all their faults, like I've got faults, you've got faults, the British Boxing Board of Control have got faults, they're an excellent commission. And they're run by people who truly care about the sport. And if they don't believe this fight shouldn't be sanctioned, then perhaps it shouldn't. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it might not even happen. You know, sometimes in these situations, you get people, all of a sudden the tickets don't sell, and don't look like they're going to sell any pay-per-view. There's no money, and it's pulled. You know, you may end up getting, or someone might get injured. Nigel or Sakio Bika, or I don't know. But again, never say a bad word about Nigel, people involved. Like, I wish him all the best.
Brooke Khan, we've spoken to death about it. I think we've said like 3 or 4 times this is the last chance. Is this really the last chance?
I think so. I mean, look, I think that both guys want that payday. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. And wherever they can get that payday, UK, Middle East, when you have to understand what's happening behind the scenes now is that everybody is approaching everyone in the Middle East.
Do you think that could land in Saudi or the Middle East?
Maybe. Not Saudi. I don't know whether it's Saudi. I don't think it's. For me, it's not a Middle East fight.
It has to be here, surely.
Yeah, it should. But if they can get the money there, they'll go there. Understanding how boxing, like since we've done a deal with Saudi, everybody's been contacting Saudi. They've told me. Everybody's been contacting Qatar, Abu Dhabi. Oh, we'll do a fight for you. So, and that's Amir Khan and people that know him would have done the same. You know, and they have, because, you know, I spoke to Khan-Brook about it, and there's conversations going on around it. For me, it's just a massive British fight. All right, it's not really a global fight. It's an all-time British great fight. So if I'm going to do it, that's where I'd like to do that fight. Is in the UK. But of course, if someone comes in with a load of money, then they're going to do the fight wherever that is.
Decent little welterweight fight tomorrow night on Sky Sports. From
Yeah,
the States.
Spence-Porter,
Thoughts on the fight?
I think it's a really good fight. Big fan of both guys. Sean Porter, I think I got asked a question the other day: who wins, Sean Porter or Terence Crawford? I think in terms of the opposition.
Do you mean Spence or Crawford?
Spence or Crawford.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the opposition faced, you have to say Errol Spence right now. I think he beat Sean Porter on points. I think he might have to come through a few storms on the way, but I think he wins well, and I think he probably puts Porter down as well in the fight. I expect a really good fight, and actually in the UK you can watch it live and exclusive on Sky Sports.
Could Kell get a rematch with the winner?
I don't know. You know, I feel like Kell really needs it. I think if Kell beats Amir Khan, he becomes a massive front runner for those kind of fights. And let's not forget, Khan-Brook did really well against Errol Spence, and he was weight trained, and he didn't have the best camp. But for 7 rounds, he was winning the fight. And Errol Spence come on. He's a very strong boy. He's excellent on the inside, and he got the fully deserved victory. But Khan-Brook, just I feel like has been a bit of a wasted talent over the years. Obviously, the killer blow was winning the world title against Sean Porter in LA. And let's not forget that. And then obviously with the machete injury, that was disastrous. And that had such a huge effect on his career. Coming back, the big rehabilitation, being out for so long, couldn't have a big fight because he had to fight the mandatory in Jojo Dan. Came back, supposed to fight Chavez, got injured in his rib, then had to fight Bizier in a mandatory, and fought Frankie Gavin in the meantime. Never really had the opportunity to have that mega fight. Then when we had an opportunity to maybe fight Jesse Vargas, the money wasn't that great. The Golovkin fight come out, it was huge money. And at that moment it was like, you just never know with Kell when these big fights are going to come, with the injuries and sometimes the lack of discipline. So that fight was taken, his stock rose in that fight. He got injured, but his stock rose, came back, fought Errol Spence, which, funnily enough, I wasn't sure that was the right fight to take. I think, having watched the performance, I think it was the right fight to take, and I think a fully fit Kell making weight brilliantly could have beaten Errol Spence that night. And then he did his other cheekbone in that fight. So, I think with Kell, a lot of it is, financially he's done very well at the sport. He's also been a world champion with multiple world title defences. But I just feel like there could have been more. And maybe there still can be more. You know, if he can beat Amir Khan or had a big win, there's still time to create an extended legacy for his career. Because I felt like when he beat Sean Porter, he was a guy that could have unified the division.
If the Khan fight doesn't happen, what about the potential winner if that fight happens, Smith and Vargas at 54?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, is that going to happen in Saudi?
We're working on it. I mean, it's a fight we're talking about. I think next week we'll get the answers to that fight. Both guys are due a fight by the end of the year, so why not fight each other?
That'd be a big fight.
Great
for the winner.
Great fight. I mean, Smith Vargas is a great fight, full stop. Style-wise, it's brilliant. And Kell-Brook against the winner I believe Kell-Brook against the winner of that fight is a pay-per-view fight, because I think the winner of Vargas against Smith, especially on a show like that, comes out as, especially if it's the fight I think it will be. And if Liam Smith was to win that fight, an all-British fight becomes a big fight in Liverpool. And, a lot of ifs and buts. But Kell-Brook wants a big fight. He's back in the gym. He's lost a huge amount of weight. I mean, I saw him at Sky on Wednesday. I couldn't believe it, because I haven't seen him for a few months, and I saw the pictures of him. And now he looks like he's ready. So I expect to see him fight this year.
All right, Eddie, cheers. And roll on Golovkin-Derevyanchenko
Yes,
next
mate.
week.
Yeah, Porter against Spence. And next week, it's a fantastic weekend for boxing. We have the MTK tournament on Friday night, and we have Golovkin-Derevyanchenko on a Saturday night.
Things ain't looking too bad for Sky.
Double cheeky.
Cheers, Eddie.
Once the opportunity arose for him to close the show, he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.